Hello and welcome everybody to today's show. I brought a couple guests along with me. We have the Beardbarian,
What up? How's it going?
and we also have this guy I just met called Gabe the Samurai.
Hello, we've met in Discord before, but you probably don't remember.
I meet a lot of people in a lot of places, and sometimes they
Yes.
all confuse me. In fact,
Wait,
remembering
Numbskull,
things.
are you a knight by chance?
I like the night.
That's close enough. I've been playing a lot of For Honor this morning, and we've got a samurai, we've got a knight, we've got a Viking-ish sort of tribute thing. Close enough. People keep calling me Viking. It's close enough. We can have our own For Honor game right here. It'd be great.
Oh, it would be fun. When I get into a game, I strive for the end. I just played Darkness 2 not that long ago, a couple days ago. I got it for free, played through like 3 days, and I was done. I have Shy Wolf asking for her wrench to be removed, or his wrench to be removed, their wrench to be removed. I would do that, but I wrench the people that come in until I hit a number that I deem necessary, and then the people that are wrenched I know were here first. Her.
So it's like the
That's weird that
OG.
somebody. That's weird that somebody would actually want their wrench removed. Usually, people are asking for wrenches.
Well, when I get a little over 200, I want to drop the wrenches so that in order to get a wrench, you have to come on the show.
Ah,
So it's partly it's a reward system for people who are here. Sasuke, I remembered
yeah.
you put $2 towards the channel last week, and I haven't seen you since. So there's your bones. Enjoy the chat, those who are new. With that, I have this fancy. Why? Am I showing nothing, guys? When did that turn
You
black?
have the full screen.
Yeah.
You have the
Oh,
full screen
for
thing
you,
up.
for you two, you're seeing something different than the audience is. I'm sorry about that
Actually,
black screen,
yeah.
guys. But let's
that-
load
that's
up.
okay.
I can do.
They'll forgive you.
I
Hold
hope
on, I
so.
can do a split screen on my phone,
No, no, no.
and I can see what's going.
I can see most of what's going on, but we're gonna load this board up real quick so you guys can get an idea what you're looking at.
Welcome to the Great Debate.
Maybe.
This is snazzy as fuck. Now I understand why your chat has so many boners to toss around.
Also, subscribers get like 100 or 200 bones. People with wrenches are supposed to earn bones twice as quick as those without. There's a whole bunch of fun settings in there. I think I counted 70 something auto responses from the bots, with more to come, obviously.
Numbskull loves giving out boners.
Yeah, I love your boner dispensing machine. Here's a bone for you. There's a bone. Everywhere a bone. It's good. It's good times.
But here we have the board, and a quick run-through explanation. There's 18 topics. Underneath each topic is a statement or a question, something to do with that topic to start a conversation. You're going to offer your perspective and your opinion because everybody comes from a different place when you discuss something. And where you come from and what you've been through impact how you look at things. And the differences in how people look at things is the perspective. And when the perspective changes or you look at somebody else's and you're open to the ideas, you're open to changing your mind or hearing a viewpoint. And that's what I'm trying to do here is just get all of that out so people can hear it. Not in necessarily an argumentative fashion, but in a way that we can just talk about it without paperwork and screaming.
But
Wait,
screaming's half the fun.
There's paperwork.
There's no paperwork.
Oh, good. 'Cause I don't do so good with paperwork.
Neither do I. So we had the suggestion before the show to flip a coin. And I'm going to ask one of the contestants,
Or flip each other off.
pick a coin, quick, heads or tails.
Give me tails. I'm always chasing tail.
Tails it is, and I've got Google flip a coin on the click. And how about I just press reload on that page? Maybe that'll work. Flipping.
We have to reload our coin. Give us a second.
Damn digital world. lagging.
Or I can
And
just
tails
flip
it
this
is.
coin that's in my hand right now. Oh, okay.
I used to, in the older episodes, have the coin programmed to work on the screen. And that doesn't work anymore.
Goddamn screen coins.
So, it was Tails. Beardy gets to pick from the board first.
Do I pick a topic in general or just
You
any
can pick
random
anything
thing?
you want. The easy,
Let's
general,
go
and hot
for
just kind of classifies.
transportation.
Transportation.
Yes.
Why are there not more individuals flying their own planes and helicopters? More than money, though.
Okay, have you ever flown inside of a fucking helicopter? Those things have to fly in the fourth dimension. They don't move in a third dimensional plane. No, they are so extraordinary with their multiple blades that they actually travel through space and time itself rather than just through the air. That's why when you fuck one up, it's catastrophic. It destroys the space-time continuum. I mean, it's just not worth it. And who the fuck thinks they can fly a plane when these motherfuckers can't even fucking drive? There aren't more people flying planes and helicopters because they're too stupid.
Actually, I've been in a helicopter. The controls required to maneuver those look simpler than they are. But it still looks like fun. I wouldn't mind flying around in a helicopter.
Well, yeah, me too. I mean, shooting missiles at peasants on the streets and gunning down entire roadways. Who wouldn't want that?
That does sound appealing.
Canada.
Well, that all depends on the Canadian, I guess.
No, Canada doesn't want it. I want it, though. And when I get it, Canada's really not going to want it. And then we're not going to have nearly as many fucking problems. There will then be even less people in the sky because I'll be shooting them all down.
I honestly think it's because we already have to worry about Asian drivers ruining up the road. So I can only imagine what would happen if we had Asian helicopter pilots. That would be a little bit scary.
But then there's also these off-roading trick drivers. What if we got them in planes? I mean, I'd be down for seeing some aerial acrobatics and giant explosions when they fuck shit up that can't be done because physics.
There is a plan to work on a drone style it's not really a helicopter, it's like a self-automated drone to move you from place to place. Not quite a hover car, more like a chair with a lot of fans on it. Would you be interested in that? And we haven't even gotten into the FAA yet.
So we're talking about like aerial drone style where the fans are like on the bottom? Or are we talking like Game of Fans where it's all in the back and it just propels you forward? What kind of fan displacement are we talking about here?
The one I saw was a chair on a disc with a bunch of arms sticking out with fans on them.
Oh, no.
It basically looked like you were sitting on, what are the ones called for the swamp? The boat with the big fan on the back.
Oh, the hover boats. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
It's basically like you're sitting in one of those with the big rod in front of you. Instead of the whole boat under you, you've got this little disc. And instead of the big fan behind you, there's like 8 around you.
Okay, I'm okay with this under one condition. Well, 2, actually. First, I got to be able to get the fans big enough and powerful enough that when I put a big bulletproof glass dome over top of that thing, that it's going to be able to support that additional weight. And second, I am then going to need an additional ring around the outside of that ring with blades on it that just continually spins like a big circular saw. And then I'm totally in.
Heights in general, so it would not bode well for me. I'd be shooting projectiles, but they certainly wouldn't be missiles.
I just want a spinning death orb. Is that so much to ask for?
It sounds interesting.
Yes, it is, Beardy. 59 seconds.
One day, soon in the future, a man with a beard flies the slicer.
I'd just be worried that the skeletons would take over and want to take over the airwaves.
Hey, the more people he kills, the better off I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reporter Trisha Takanawa down here at the YouTube building, where it appears that a man in a giant rolling death orb has started massacring all of the members of the YouTube campus.
Hashtag too soon.
On the bright side, all the
Oh
roadways
my
have opened
gosh.
up, and there's no traffic, so general transportation will be made much easier.
By the way, I'm going to try this on this stream, but just so you know in the future, if you ever say in the stream, YouTube's going to strike me for this, you're probably going to get a strike. I did a gaming stream, and I said YouTube's probably going to give me a strike for saying that. And apparently what I said wasn't bad enough, so they got me a strike for the music in the background on the game I was playing.
That
See, the
happened
trick
with
is you
me.
can't just second guess it. You gotta commit.
I got not really a strike, but I got a copyright claim where it didn't do anything to your channel, but they
what
just
I got.
took whatever ad revenue you had and gave it to the artist for playing Crazy Taxi.
What?
So, yeah, don't play Crazy Taxi with the music on.
All right. Good to know for the future. However, getting back to the topic, ignore the timer. The other thing is there's a whole bunch of areas where you really can't fly because of FAA restrictions and air restrictions. So that's
Beardy would find a way around those.
You just ignore them after a while, I guess. It's
Yeah,
only illegal if you get caught. Trust me, I'm a felon.
Laws are a lot like human rights. They don't mean shit if you just ignore them and kill everyone.
Exactly.
All right, Gabe, it is up to you to pick our next topic. What are we talking about?
Okay, let's talk about let's see. Let's go with video games for 500, Alex.
Video games. Are paid loot crates acceptable in a paid game? In a free game, should
No.
they be allowed at
They are
all?
No, they should not be allowed at all because we've already paid for the full game. I agree strongly with Jim Sterling on this one. Why on earth are you giving us this freemium experience? Now, I'm okay with stuff like Rock Band, where you're paying for a song because they have to pay the artist themselves, but loot crates as a whole, I'm not really for unless it's a free-to-play. That's been my stance, and it will always be my stance. We should not have to pay for extra stuff that in the 90s would have been included in the full version of the game anyway. Yeah.
Damn straight.
Rock Band's about Rock Band and Guitar Hero are the only exceptions.
Oh, hold on. Wait, what?
I was just gonna say Rock Band and Guitar Hero are the only exceptions because you are actually buying a song, and so that I'm okay with. But those are basically the only exceptions.
Okay, so let's say that I'm out on I want to go raid some merchants. I really want to take them for all they've got. But I know that these merchants are shrewd, and they're not going to go ahead and part with all of their money. They're not going to take all their valuables with them on the trek. So I go ahead and talk to them, and I negotiate a deal with them for protection. You know, I will be their bodyguard. I'll guard their caravan. They pay me half of an allotment from their safe at their current home with a promissory of the second half at the end. And instead, halfway along the road, I just, whistle for my boys. They come in, we kill them all, take all their stuff, and then finish off the trek to their house and raid it. If someone is stupid enough to fall for a trap in which they're going to be throwing all of their money away, is it really the fault of the raider that tricked them? I mean, these are a game that doesn't look great, whether or not it's acceptable. It's just a shit game. Don't play it.
All right, so hold on. I was looking at this from both points of view, and when I buy a $60 game, I get fucking pissed when I have to buy the other half of the game for another $60 as they decide.
That's why you wait for like 4 months for the game to be out and everyone else to discover the fuckery, and then you jump in.
But then,
Well-
if I download a game for free, can I really complain that certain parts of the game I have to work 10 times harder for because I'm not willing to put a couple bucks in here and there?
Yeah, when it comes to free games, paid stuff is appropriate if you want to get that extra edge. It just annoys me when it's mandatory. But if you're buying a paid game that has paid loot crates, you're an idiot. The game, whether or not the game is acceptable for doing so, you're an idiot for investing in that game. It's a personal problem.
There are games such as Overwatch. Like, I used to own Overwatch when I had my PS4. They did not used to have the paid loot crate system, but they incorporated it in game. So stuff like that is kind of sleazy, in my personal opinion. And I don't think companies should be doing that. Now, if you're buying a game like you knowingly has that system in place, yeah, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be buying the game. Simple as that. But then we also need to think of, okay, we need something in place to at least warn parents that this is a game where you're potentially going to be having gambling-like mechanics in this game, so your children don't get addicted to that type of mechanic. Because kids are stupid. They don't know any better.
That sounds like a problem for the parents and not the video game company.
Well,
it's the company that I see having no problem. It's people not wanting to take a little time to investigate a game, letting their kids just jump into it, not talking to them about how these systems are built, not taking the time to understand them. If you're going to be a consumer, you should understand what you're consuming. It's like eating cyanide and thinking that there's nothing wrong. You gotta look a little deeper.
You really like the death analogies, don't you?
I'm a barbarian. What do you expect? I'm also like, why am I in favor of people getting screwed out of my? I'm a barbarian. This is. I'm pro raiding. I'm pro fucking people over. Pro murder. Like it's all my shtick, man.
And you're pro beard.
Yes,
that's the most important thing.
Very pro beard. It's all right. I like.
Overall, if you're an idiot and you decide just screw the kids, let's take the kids out of this. Well, don't screw kids, but if you're an adult and you're buying a game that the free has that loot mechanic, you're an idiot.
That was a very musical way saying idiot. Is it just me, or is he lagging just a bit?
No, it's not just you, Gabe. You are roboting really hard.
Talk a little slower.
Can you hear now? Yes. Idiot if you choose to buy a game that has loot crate mechanics. You are not an idiot if you've already bought the game and the company decides to incorporate it later on in the game's lifespan.
Yeah, then they're fucking dicks, and you should totally rage on them. And I'm not saying treat it like YouTube HQ, but definitely let them know you're angry.
Yes, because I bought this game without knowing about any type of loot crate mechanic. I should not have to pay for this because you're just incorporating this to be a jerk. You want more money, like Electronic Arts all over the place. Blizzard and Electronic Arts are money whores.
Yeah, they've been doing that since about like 98, somewhere around there.
I try to look at it from the point of view where the company wants to make their money somewhere. I don't have a problem with a company that says this is a free game to download to say, okay, well, we're going to make it either extremely difficult or straight out, you're going to have to pay to cross this part of the barrier for this section of the game or to get this special little add-on that might not do anything. If the game is free and wants you to pay for certain things in it that might not affect the gameplay, I'm kind of okay with that because you downloaded a free game. You have to understand at some point they're going to want to make it somewhere. If you go out and pay for the game, I miss the days of being able to throw the cartridge in and that was it. They had no connection to your system.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this huge world gameplay, but at the same time, that's what brought in this. But we'll add extra maps. That's not the same game. It's an add-on, and that add-on's going to be more. And I'm especially not okay with paid block walls in a paid game.
Yeah. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. For me, it's just simply I just don't want to have to pay extra for a game. Like, I research my games anyway, and if you're adding loot crates to a game that didn't have them before, then you're just a prick. That's all I can say. It makes me not want to get Overwatch again when I get a computer. And
the best way I can put it, if it's got multiplayer or it's multiplayer oriented, it's gonna have a lot of DLC and dickery. A lot.
Oh yeah. I'm okay with some DLC. That's not my. But when
don't
you're making
make
it mandatory,
the mission of the game. When you're
when you're making
Call of Duty now, you're playing going, okay, when's the next map release? Oh crap, this one's gonna be $20. Why are the maps going? Oh, there's 2 maps this time. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never played a Call of Duty before, but I hear it's basically a copy paste of the previous version.
I stopped playing online. I'll occasionally grab one and play through the individual gameplay, but that's about it anymore. Also, thank you guys.
Okay, Beardy, your turn.
I just hit 201. Somebody in the chat mentioned, and I went and looked. Holy crap! And fuck you, Streamlabs. What the hell is your problem?
Is it being an ornery cunt?
Well, when somebody subscribes, it's supposed to do this. And it's not doing it. That would be part of the why. What the hell is going on?
Just give it the slaps.
I'm just excited that I'm getting my job back this summer, so I'll be able to save up for a laptop so I can stop doing my editing on my phone.
Nice.
3 years of editing on my phone is enough.
Something's wrong with Streamlabs. It's broken. I'll fix it later.
Is that the noise? Is that the noise you make when you've orgasmed?
That's the subscriber's noise. That's another body in the graveyard. All right, here we are. There is a board.
Beardy lops up their heads. You take their bodies to the morgue.
That's right.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and
me.
Let's talk about all the
No.
things and the bad things, baby.
Then you'll like this one. Should prostitution be legal?
It isn't.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness, because you're talking to the virgin about sex, so that's the awkward part.
Wait, it's not legal.
No,
Not
prostitution's
in
not
most
legal.
places.
Oh shit. Well, I'm not going to confess to anything illegal on this stream, but
That's for
in
the
this
best.
case, yes, it should be legal. Wetting my dick without having to go ahead and worry about waking up with that bitch in my bed the following morning should be totally okay. Sometimes I just want to slip her a $5 and some taxi fare and send her on a fucking way. And you just what's the point of having emotional entanglement when all you want is for a bitch to build castles around your dick with her tongue?
What if you're poor and you shower every day, but you could use $50 to grab some groceries?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gay, but $50 is $50, and sometimes you do what you got to do to pay the bills. Why is entrepreneurship not legal? I mean, a person can start a lemonade stand if they apply for the right license, unlike a pair of children that had their business taken away from them for not doing so. I mean, are those children prostitutes for not having a business license, for trying to sell their goods? No, they're just stupid kids. They haven't broken any laws, and nor have the whores. They have done a service to the society. We should honor our whores. They suck for a cause.
Yes, and money. Here's a question, though. Overall, if a nation wants to make it illegal, should they put down restrictions that hurt the company that was in one way involved? So I think the question I asked under a different conversation, bringing up the new FOSTA, the new government shit. You know how they're putting stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
If 2 people go into Walmart and somebody pays somebody else for sex, is it Walmart's fault? Are they responsible? And how do you prosecute a business transaction where both parties agreed to the transaction?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the way that I see it. I'm against prostitution. My reason being, yeah, I know, Beardy. We can't go off.
I haven't even made a sound yet. I'm just staring at your avatar in abject disbelief. You should explain yourself before I headbutt my monitor.
I'm an angry fat samurai. What can I say? But in my personal opinion, it should be illegal because I'm worried about you are basically when you're a prostitute, when you're a hoe. I feel weird saying that word, but when you're a hoe, you are you are essentially a walking STD.
Not the good
And
ones,
it
dude.
should-
You can. There's such a thing as quality control. Not every hooker is a streetwalker. In fact, you can get the really good
Now
ones
is
that just
working.
work out of offices. They work at, you go to any municipal capital, you find them working for the transportation department or city hall, sucking dicks of people in suits. You got to find the refined
Bill,
whores.
Bill Clinton only got the finest hookers.
No, he didn't. I partied with that motherfucker. We ate the asses of some of the dirtiest motherfucking whores on this planet. Love
And you're
them.
not just talking about his wife.
Hold on.
No.
You're saying that
And you're not just
because
talking.
there's prostitutes out there, that those that are out there are really dirty. But if it were legal, wouldn't there be more of them, and each one would take less loads? And then
I've encountered way more herpes in the hippie communities, like
I'm
at
just-
festivals like Burning Man, than I have in hookers.
I'm just worried, in all seriousness. And again, I'm a 25-year-old kid, but in all seriousness, I'm more worried about the whole. Okay, shouldn't this be seen as human trafficking? Like, wouldn't you be legalizing human trafficking?
Only if it's
in a way?
non-consensual,
Because
and the hookers are being
No,
forced.
hold on. Human trafficking is you're buying the person and taking
Yeah.
them with you. That's human
No, you're just
trafficking.
renting the vagina for a little while. You're purchasing a
just
service, like a
renting-
shoe shine.
You're renting the physical rub. That's it.
I feel awkward about this whole. I honestly, I feel so freaking awkward about this whole conversation because you're talking to a dude that's waiting till marriage. So,
So this is the perfect conversation. Why is this bad? You have a perspective. Your perspective is different than mine. It's different than Beardy's. Why would it be bad having you here? Thank you, Saki.
Oh, somebody's throwing money at you, aren't they?
That's exactly what that is too.
my perspective is this. I think it should be a fact that I'm worried that, and I could be completely wrong on this, but still, this is my perspective. I'm worried about STDs flying around. I'm worried about, people buying hookers for kids. That's one thing that I'm worried about. And I know that none of us are for that, but, there are some creepy...
How about
I'm
the
not going
movie
to curse.
Milk
There's some
Money?
creepy mother truck.
Have you ever seen the movie Milk Money?
I've heard of the movie Milk Money.
The kids
I've seen
round up enough money
I've-
to go see a stripper's tits or a hooker's tits.
I know about it because I've seen the Nostalgia Critic do a review on the movie Milk Money.
It's a good movie.
That's how I know about most of these movies. But I'm worried that, kids, safety of children, all this other stuff.
They've already got that to worry about. Somebody who's going to go ahead and neglect the age of sexual consent is also going to not give a shit if prostitution is legal when it comes to the time of doing it, if they're getting paid for it. In that case, it's a situation not of legality versus illegality. It's the moral corruption of the individual. It's already illegal for them to expose themselves to children.
Well, you want it legal simply because you're a barbarian and that you've been doing it.
Yeah, I've been
Hold
paying
on.
bitches forever for this shit. I don't want to go to jail again.
It is a terrible reason to end up in a bad place. I mean, you don't go to jail for buying a magazine or a gallon of milk. You don't keep either one of them.
I honestly think Beardy has been doing this under the table for years, and he wants to be legal, so he's not going to get in trouble.
Hey,
Under the
I asked it
table,
for
on the
myself.
porch,
How do you know I didn't
wherever,
ask this
really.
question for myself? I'm a little, I could use a few extra bucks on the side. I was looking for another job opportunity. I thought bringing it up might help affect the regulations on it.
Numbskull, I'm sure Beardy will pay good money to have you comb his beard.
No, nobody touches my fucking beard but me.
Like monkey in his.
I never said touch it. I never said touch the beard. You can get an extraordinarily long.
No, that's still touching with a secondary object. The only way that a person is touching my beard is that I'm eating that pussy and it's all up rubbing between those butt cheeks. It's a very limited contact situation.
Fair enough.
All right. Gabe, we are on
All right.
your shot to pick at the board.
Okay. Real quickly, I'm not choosing this. When we're talking about toys, are we talking about G-rated toys or adult toys?
I guess you just have to find out. Very few.
That's kind of an
places-
important thing before I choose. Dang it! I wasn't even choosing that one. I told you I wasn't choosing it.
Too late. You said the word.
Very few places will you find the now $1, 25-cent horse, shuttle, or other kids' rides that used to be at grocery stores. Does everybody remember them as a kid?
How is that a question?
It's not. It's a statement.
Those were for kids?
Well,
dude, I used to ride the rocking ponies while screaming and throwing my axe around. It was a lot of fun. I haven't seen those.
No wonder little Billy. No wonder I found you on one of those, and little Billy was crying his head off because you sliced off his ear.
It happens. I mean, you get too close and people get cut up. Shywolf says too many adults used them and broke them. Shut up! I didn't ride it that hard. That shit's been gone forever. Even gumball machines.
They're coming back. Believe it or not, I've seen 3 places in the last year that they've actually started to bring back small areas where there's like 4 or 5 machines all together.
Oh shit! So you can get like Supremes and pretend to ride off into the sunset.
But they're $1 a piece now. They used to be you pop a quarter and you get like 3 minutes. Now it's $1 for 5.
Well, I mean, if it's $1 for 5, that's like 1 quarter extra.
No.
So, I mean, if you're paying a quarter for 3 minutes, then it's $1 for 5 minutes now. That doesn't seem like that much of a price hike. In fact, it seems to me like you're getting an extra minute for 1 quarter less.
It's double the price.
It's actually it's like 56% increase or somewhere in like 50 or 60% increase.
Is there? Am I missing something? Because I thought you said it was like a quarter per minute, and then you said it was $1 for 5 minutes.
3 minutes when I was a kid.
Yep.
You'd pay 3 minutes on it for a quarter. Now the machines
I got you.
that I let
that's
my kids on were $1 a piece for 5 minutes.
How does a skeleton have children?
Something bone, something complete.
When somebody said boner, when you heard somebody say boner, you really thought they meant bone her.
Yeah, I did, and I did, and I did, and I did, and
you have kids now.
I'm disappointed by the lack of claw machines. Are there a lot of claw machines near those toys? Because those things teach children a lesson in which everything is a lie. Very important lesson.
I come across a lot of the claw machines.
Go ahead. I'm patient.
I come
Claw
across
machines?
a lot of those claw machines. They're also mostly 50 cents and $1 now. I've actually come across a few of them in large areas that are like $2.50 for 1 play.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you gotta account for inflation.
That's a good business. I need to get into that shit.
They make a lot of money in those.
That's
machines.
that's the legal way to pilfer people.
I will put a claw machine on every corner.
Well, here's the thing: the Walmart that I go to, I hate Walmart in general, but the Walmart that I go to used to have this little arcade room for children, and it had the little rides and the claw machine and everything. They stripped all of that out, took all of that stuff out, and now it's just like.
Uh-oh. That's all right. Keep going.
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I hit a button. Sorry.
Stop hitting buttons. But they took all that out and they replaced it with like seasonal lawn chairs and stuff like that. I'm like, you're taking away the kids' fun.
Yeah.
You stupid corporate dimwits. I just hate. I would be willing to pay the extra $1 if it meant like my non-existent kid had some fun for a few minutes.
And that's what
They're
it was.
taking away the fun from the.
But they're really opening up a new market, guys. See, what I'm seeing here is that $1 for 5 minutes is worth it. If you've got 4 of them, that's $4 or whatever. You set yourself up, one camera on a tripod, and you get the other one in your hand, and you get 4 hot bitches to jump on those, and you pop a loony into each one, and you just start videotaping the whole thing. You got the one static angle, you get in close for the close-ups, you put that shit on Pornhub, totally clothed and everything, but they're vibrating and they're rocking back and forth. That is totally worth the investment of $4 for 5 minutes.
Yes. Artiker brings up the fact the claw machines are rigged. It's funny how they're rigged because I actually sat and talked to a guy that filled the machines, and they intentionally either try to tuck the legs in or tuck the butt into the next animal tight enough so it looks like it's loose, but it's not. So that is an intentional thing. They put those things in there looking like they're loose, but the way they pack them in there tightens them all up, and it makes it difficult to grab. Thank you, Reaper, for tossing $5 into the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, you can get 5 slots if they put in another machine.
Yeah, now I can ride on the horse for 25 minutes.
Yay!
There's a half an hour burned.
I feel like I'm the
Saki, I also...
only
Oh, go say that again one more time.
one that's like not chasing women.
Oh, I don't chase them. I mean, any more than I chase anybody else with an axe. It's really just about who's in front of me at the time.
I'm done chasing. I just yell at my wife to come to the bed.
Yeah, once you get good enough with it, with your manliness, you can. Have you seen Triple X? That was a great movie. The first one, the very, very first one, when Vin Diesel rolls into Czechoslovakia, and they get into the nightclub, and that dude leans around the corner and he just goes, "Bitches, come." That is the level you get to, and then you start bringing in the bitches, and that's when you start doing the pony rides and the stuff like that, because you don't even have to put any effort. You just lean out the door and go, "Bitches, come." And there, it's great. It's fucking great. It is a worthy standpoint to get to in your life. It is an important milestone. I have faith in you, Gabe. I have faith in you.
I just want to be able to like take it slow, actually date somebody and hold hands and such. You know, be a gentleman.
Well, you totally can. You can accomplish all those things after you summon them into the room with bitches. Come and take your pick.
Hey, Gabe, I am gonna give you a little trick. The gentleman thing, that's all nice and good, but that gentleman thing goes with a kind of a hard character. If you're always gentlemanly, you're not gonna end up with the woman you want. You're gonna end up with someone that steps on you.
Oh, I'm far from being like, a wuss. Like,
well, no, I'm just saying that. Trust me when I tell you, as a married man, if that gives me any credit here, being gentlemanly all the time never works in your favor.
Oh, I know, but I'm in all seriousness, like playing aside, what I'm talking about is like not being a like just not being a gentleman all the time, like, but still, and I know that you two do the same thing, showing some sort of respect for
absolutely
the person
respect
that you're wanting.
A woman, but respect is different than being a gentleman all the time. Because sometimes people that I just say this because I know people like this. Sometimes being a gentleman can get you stepped on because there are women that look for that and they will use that.
Oh, I'm very much aware of like people who are female dogs.
And I think it was Shy Wolf in the chat said, save a horse, ride a cowboy. So we'll leave toys on that.
The immortal words of Big Nerds.
All right.
So I guess Numbskull picked for me, so it's Beardy's turn.
You said toys. You don't like when my chat calls out topics. It's the first one that pops up. Click. It's automatic.
Controversy.
I don't even think about it. It just click. Cool. We got a topic. Let's talk. Should minors be given say on what happens? When should someone be ready to put in their political opinion? Views. I wrote views. I said opinion.
Well, which kind of minor? Are we talking about minors like children or minors that work in caves and such?
It's very clearly an O in that sentence.
Mine or.
So
I don't know. You could be a person that doesn't know.
Go first, man. I'm gonna take up a chunk here. So go first.
No. I think let me say this. I think that we should allow our kids to weigh in. I think that we should allow children to speak on these issues and input. But if you're a little kid, you don't know enough about the world, and there are smart kids out there. There are very smart kids out there. But you don't know about work. It operates to be able to have an actual say in what goes on in politics. I'm 25 and I barely know what's going on in politics. So to allow a child to make political decisions is kind of suicidal. It's kind of like the government just taking the edge of the cliff and jumping off of it. We should allow our kids to speak and have conversations on these topics, but no, I don't think that we should allow them to make final says and final decisions until they've experienced more of the world and more of life in general and learned more.
So I'm pretty much with Gabe on that in regards to kids should not have the ability to make major political decisions. But where things differ for me is when we get to the point of when should they be allowed, which for me is defined at the point of reaching adulthood. But how do we define reaching adulthood? It requires a little bit of finesse, because clearly it's not a fucking age. The human brain doesn't finish its final developments until around 26 years old, so the person is still undergoing all sorts of emotional and psychological strains in addition to the growing and changing of their bodies up until that point in time. But that's still obviously too late, especially with the weird things that happen in our world and what people are able to pay attention to, yada yada and so forth. So where do we set adulthood? Well, adulthood needs to be ritualized once again, because I believe that a child reaches adulthood when they can best their parent in armed combat and assume the mantle of adulthood, taking responsibility for their life, for their home, for their loved ones. You need to be able to beat your father or mother in a test of strength and skill in armed combat to prove yourself capable of defending yourself and your home and your determination in life. And once you have the power to take and defend lives, then you can start going ahead and properly expressing and being a contributing part of society.
So we should just basically have octagons in every single home in America and Canada. And
every backyard should have a training pell in it. It's basically kind of like a tall crucifix for practicing your reach and wrap techniques. And every parent should be teaching their child how to defend themselves. And the child and the parent will both need to continually learn. It's a generational thing. But once it's instituted, once you get to the second generation of kids, it's going to already be incredibly strong. And you just keep that shit going. All you need is a couple of lengths of doweling and a little bit of padding on the clothes. So it takes some of the blow. But you need it to hurt. You need the kids to learn what pain feels like, so they learn how to block, how to dodge, and how to take things seriously. Because when a child's been smacked up the head by a rod in training with somebody they trust and they don't get angry about it because they've learned how to deal with their emotions through genuine, honest combat training with a loved one, then when they go forward in life and somebody goes ahead and tosses shit at them, they're going to jump out of the chair like a fucking idiot because they know what pain feels like. They know the seriousness of inflicting it and receiving it. It resolves a lot of the problems of these touchy-feely fuckers making bad political decisions.
I'd hate to say how much.
But here's the problem, though. What if both the father and the son don't like to fight? What if they're pacifists?
Just because you train for war doesn't mean you're eager to run off to it. Only a fool leaves themselves without defense and unprepared in the face of danger.
My son constantly tests himself. As he got older, he didn't want to fight, but then he got to a point where it'd be like, I'll punch Dad in the middle of the back and see what he does. and I'll flip him over and drop him on the floor and, you know, not hit him, but start punching him in the chest as he's laughing at me.
It's a play fighting thing. Like it starts out and you get used to comfortable to those distances, then you teach them how to use their weight more, and it doesn't have to be a harmful, destructive thing.
You slowly give more strength
I will say this.
to it.
I will say this. I hate the fact that we've become such a bubble boy nation that if you're play fighting with your son and you accidentally throw him into the hard portion of the couch and he hits his head, complete accident, somebody will call Child Protective Services on you. That's how much of a bubble wrapped nation we've become. You can't even have accidents.
So you need to move to the back fucking woods away from the pansy motherfuckers that don't live like that. The cities are no place to raise a strong child.
You explain to your kids that, hey, if you get hurt, well, we're messing around. Remember, we're messing around. Somebody's going to get hurt. Hell, my kid has kicked my finger into the coffee table and pinched it pretty freaking good. I mean, not pain, but, you know, one of those, fuck you, damn, okay, we're done for now. It's going to happen. You have to explain that to them, too, so that when I punch him in the shoulder, just a hair bit too hot. That one hurt a bit. Okay, walk it off. You'll be fine. That's what it is. They just need to, like Barry said, the kids need to understand.
Real quickly, this is completely off topic, but the next 6 minutes said soy products should be controlled substances.
Probably partially.
I have no idea. All right, it's my turn. So I say we talk about the LGBTQ plus alphabet. That is something I love to talk about on my channel.
I bet. At what point do we separate dysphoria from how they were born in looking at LGBT plus individuals?
I wish I didn't pick this topic now. I regret this completely. Well, the only form of dysphoria I know about is gender dysphoria. So if you are diagnosed with it, because I know only of what I've talked to Tranime about and Dan Transgenders about this subject. They have taught me about this. So if you've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, then that's when, you know, you are officially, you know, going to transition. But with this whole LGBTQ plus crap, with this garbage of, oh, there are more than two genders, how do you know that little Billy is actually a woman? Because he decided to wear a dress that one time? You can do so much damage to a child if you let them transition at age 5. I think it should be like with anything else. Let them explore. Let them do their own thing. But don't let them don't make these big life-changing alterations to them until they are, you know, of the age to understand sex and sex ed and all this other stuff. Because when they're in preschool and grade school, they should only be worried about, okay, where am I going to sit at lunch, and does little Sarah have cooties? That's all they should worry about, not sex and gender and all this other garbage.
Weird.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. I'm gonna pick this apart just for shits and giggles because I was trying to rack my brain here. At what point do we separate dysphoria, which is the psychological?
You were actually trying to think?
Yes, I do it every now and then. Did you not smell the burning?
The fires are lit.
I thought I smelled bacon.
Yeah, that's leaking out my ears. But dysphoria is a term that it's a medical term. It's a psychological term. It's in the DSM, whatever it is, brain book. So the point that people start separating is the point that they start defining mental illness under any definition is not a part of the queer community. And that's not to say that trans people are mentally ill, but that dysphoria is listed as a mental illness. And that would be the point. It's separated. I don't know what. I don't know how else they'd separate it. Turfs, maybe gay turfs.
Traps.
But that's not dysphoria. Being a trap is just cross-dressing and luring people in and then going, "Ha ha, I have a dick." That's a boy
just like
masquerading as a girl. It's not somebody who's trans. I don't know. It's
just I get so uncomfortable. I get so uncomfortable when I see these stories because there was a story that Bearing covered about this whole LGBTQ plus HIJK thing going on where they would it was at a library and this rock star was there. Well, he calls himself a rock star. This gender neutral rock artist was there, and they were talking about. And one woman said that her little girl was trans, and the little girl looked no older than 7 years old. How are you making that decision for your little girl? How do you know that she's trans? There is such a thing as being a tomboy. Whatever happened to being a tomboy?
Whatever happened to being a Power Ranger and fighting with your friends in the schoolyard and participating in other non-discriminate forms of make-believe? Did we forget how to make believe?
Well, no, it just took the form of feminism.
God damn it. That's it. I'm finding the South Park boys and we are raiding Imagination Land and we are fixing this shit.
All right. Understandably,
I miss Mr. Rogers so.
Oh, I know, right?
I miss Mr. Rogers so badly. The land of make believe is where I wish I lived.
It was bad, but in a good way. It was okay. It felt okay. It felt pure and true and happy when you were a kid. It was wonderful. Sorry to slap you guys in the face with this topic though, but as this topic has been leading up towards this, the question of whether people were born the way they are and because there's so many that way, is it okay? It's hard to sit and decipher when you do look at the community. Well, how do you go, this is something we can accept because people are born like this, and this is something that we have to help them with because this isn't okay, we can't accept this, or we have to find a way to make this acceptable.
I actually thought just now, my brain was burning, I actually thought of something. It seemed like people like Riley Dennis are against, genital mutilation and all this other stuff, yet they're completely okay with trans kids. Isn't that still a form of genital mutilation if you're allowing your kids to transition? If you're slowly allowing them to
they can't really undergo the sexual reassignment surgery until much later in life. They instead put them on hormone blockers and fuck with their development at that critical stage. The sexual reassignment surgery has to wait until the genitals are fully formed.
But I still view hormone blockers as a form of genital mutilation because you are messing with their internals.
Well, it's not a mutilation of the genitals at that point. It's a complete deconstruction of their brain chemistry and an utter shock to their endocrine system. You're fucking them up entirely, not just the genitals. You are mutating every part of their body. It's not specific. You are fucking that entire child up.
You are, and that's what that. See, I'm completely pulling away my personal beliefs. I'm not going into my personal beliefs. I'm just talking about what I think logically makes sense, and that's like. Don't be a horrible human being and put them on hormone blockers. If you think they're one way, okay. But don't put them on these medications that are going to screw their body over. Because as they get older, as I've heard Blair White say, and yes, I know I'm parroting other trans people, but you are essentially you're going to make them you're going to cause them to regret their decision later on in life when they find out that this is not what they wanted.
Yeah, and also it comes into fact that if children too young are given hormone replacement therapy or hormone block therapy, that when they do get older, if they still wish to transition from male to female, obviously because it's the only one available, I think, still right now, then not having developed or grown enough in their genital area prevents them from going through with a full reassignment therapy. So
you're being stupid all around is what I'm thinking.
So, with
You're just
that,
you're being an overall idiot. Yeah.
with that, we are coming to the end of our show. How did you guys like that?
That was
I
a lot
had
more
fun.
fun than I was anticipating. I had no
It
idea
really
what I was
was.
walking into, so I was a blank slate. This was good.
It was a pleasure to actually see Beardy again. I have not seen him in a while.
Party.
Well,
Yeah, no,
it's
this is cool. I tweeted it out. I really like this format. It's really interesting.
I do too. I like it because I hate debates as a whole. I tend to try to stay away from it because they always end up in like, fights and arguments and things of that nature. I don't really like that because it doesn't go anywhere. It's one reason why I stay away from religious debates. It goes nowhere. You end up yelling at each other, and one side still holds on to what they believe, and the other side holds on to what they believe, and then they just end up getting mad at each other. I like it when it's more chill and you can just have fun and you don't have to take things so seriously, and you can just have fun with each other.
the point of this debate show isn't to argue my side versus your side or one versus another. It's to offer up different perspectives to bring into the argument. And I say this every so often, and I mean it. If somebody's watching the show, feel free at the end of the show, take a topic that I used, take a question, take a statement, go do a stream, go do a video, go do a show, offer your own perspective, send me a link, I'll take a
Exactly.
look. This is the whole point of the show, is to open the conversation, to give somebody else's point of view and see if it helps modify somebody else's point of view.
Exactly. And I love that. I like being able to have conversations. I'm a conversationalist. And if my crappy 25-year-old opinion can actually, give some insight, then awesome. I'm no genius. I'm just some fat idiot who plays video games.
I'm just a numbskull on the internet.
Exactly.
So,
Who apparently gets abused and beaten by his kids.
yeah. More so, I guess, as he gets older, maybe. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. It's so much better to have people on the show talking than conversing with the chat, but I love my chat so much, so I also want to give them a shout out. Thank you, everybody. Shy Wolf, a Wild Fox, the next 6 minutes. Get hold of me. I will get you on one of the next shows. I should have Sir
Dirty,
Adamanti
filthy Mexican
on tomorrow. Data and Trez and Reaper and Saki and my regulars, thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it. Saki and Reaper, also thank you again for donating to the stream. And Insane Hippie Insane, thank you for subscribing.
Insane hippies, good people. Very good people.
Awesome. It's good to have people here. If you want on the show, get hold of me wherever you can find me. Thanks, everybody, for showing up.
It is actually a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be on here. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to stay for the whole thing because I have no life, which is sad.
I'm more than glad to have you. There's also links in the description to both of their channels if you want to check them out. One of Beardy's channels, at least. I'll try and add a couple more in there.
His secret underground sex dungeon channel is only for private use.
Yeah, that's on Pornhub though.
Everybody's moving to Pornhub. But
exactly,
Well,
even
when
non-porn
they stop
users.
me from showing off my god, by which I mean my penis.
You helicopter on a video one time.
That's all it takes.
It's all
Just
it takes.
Just one.
So thank you, everybody, for showing up and tuning in. I really appreciate it. And with that, we're going to get some music on the way out.